Come and see, oh, come and see. Come and see what the Lord has done. 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 Amen. Okay, so we bring the service to an end. And ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to tell you that finally, I am a landlord, landowner in Accra. I never thought I would see this day where I would have the title to my land, my indenture, a land, portion of land in Greater Accra region of Ghana, registered in my name. But here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you a bit about this story if you are new to my channel and you don't know my story. So, in the year 2016, I set out to buy land with my wife, right? In the Greater Accra region, Ghana East Municipality to be precise. And we got a parcel of land which looked quite good. It was owned by a family who was living on one plot of land. So it was two plots, they were living on one plot, and the other one was just bushes, right? And it was even walled. And their father died intestate, like without leaving a will. So it was their father who registered the land in his name, and then he died without leaving a will. So these people were Jehovah's Witnesses, and Jehovah's Witnesses are people that I hold in very high regards, right? Because they are not like average churchgoer. They are people who take their religion very, very serious. At that same time, I also had another offer to buy land at Abokobi, right next to the municipal assembly. That one was going for somewhere around $20,000 to $30,000. This one was also going for around $20,000 to $30,000. Now remember, this was about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, the dollar rate was around 4 to 5. Both parcels of land were almost similarly priced. But my wife suggested that because these people are Jehovah's Witnesses, we wouldn't run into land litigation issues. And the fact that the person who recommended the land was also a good friend of her mom's, right? So we had some certain level of guarantee, right, that this land will not give us issues. Plus, they've been living on the land for a very long time. So we saw them as newly married couples, and we told them we don't have a lot of money. We would want to pay in installments, right? So we started paying according to the agreed schedule. And every month when my salary comes, I'll just push all my salary into the land payment. And then at the same time, we're also working on the registration of the land. So we went to do a search at the Lands Commission. I had somebody I knew personally who did a search for us and said, oh, the land is really in their name, right? So we can go ahead and then do the rest of the processes. So we're doing the processes, you get a surveyor and they'll come and do all the works. They'll do some barcodes. Like, we're making progress. And it took us about 2 years to complete the payment of the land. So after completing it, we now said we wanted to start developing it because, like, I really wanted to put up something for my family. Like, I've always wanted to own a house. I've always wanted to build, right? And so we went to clear the land with the aim. We even had like the building plans designed and everything. We had a contractor who was ready. We had a mason who was ready. We were given a bill of quantities and everything. So we had really prepared ourselves to build. Then the day that we went to hire the excavator to come and clear the land, because there was a lot of bushes and trees. We're clearing like 3 hours, 4 hours. Everything was going really well. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people came around. And one of them was supposedly the chief of the area. And this chief said, we can't continue the work that we are doing. We need to first bring our documents so that he sees. I said, oh, no problem, but he should go. I mean, the guy has already started. We've paid for the work of the excavator. So he should allow us to complete and then we'll bring their documents. There's no issue because I knew I'd done my legitimate work. I said, no. There's even another house close to mine that they've gone to break, and from there, when they were breaking it, then they heard the sound of the excavator, so they came to check. But there's a land issue or litigation which is in court for that whole area. Like it was a blow. It was news to me. It was a shocker, right? So still, I didn't have any worries. I went to see the woman who sold us the land, and I said, "This is what happened when we're clearing the land." So don't mind them. These people, that's how they are. It's like whenever you start digging, then they'll come to do these things so that you give them money and everything. So being a law-abiding citizen like I am, I went to see the chief with my documents that I'd been working on from the Lands Commission. Then when I gave it to him like this, right, he looked at the title and then he paused. Then he went for his documents and then he brought it and he said, "Is this your certificate number?" And I checked the document he gave me and I checked my indenture and everything, and it was the same. And he said, "This land has been under contention for over 13 years and it's still in court, and there's even an injunction on the land for it not to be sold or no work to be developed on it." Ladies and gentlemen, you could feel the shock. And then he now started bringing out documents like court orders. And then he brought even a newspaper clipping which showed a Daily Graphic, which is like the major newspaper outlet in Ghana, that there was a court ruling in their favor actually. And that was like barely a week or two before I went to clear the land. The court had ruled in their favor. And so now what that meant was that the land that I had purchased and I had done building plans for, and I was going to buy sand and chippings and all these things, what am I going to do again? So I went to see my lawyer. We went through the court, proceedings and everything, went on the internet and realized that it's a legitimate claim the chief was making. The land actually belonged to him. So what happens to me? I went to see the woman and said, she was trying to give excuses, but the long and short of it is that she didn't tell me the truth when I was buying the land, because you knew that there was litigation on the land. You knew that this land had been to court several times, but we've been paying for 2 years and you never mentioned this to us. How can people be so dishonest in this world? How can people be so cruel? And we trusted you. We felt that you people were Jehovah's Witnesses, and so we held you in high esteem. But no, human beings are human beings everywhere. And I don't blame the chiefs and the people who sold us the land completely, because our system in Ghana is also not very efficient, right? Because when we were going through this whole document process, because the man didn't leave a will, for you to administrate his property or his estates, you need to go to the court and get an LA and all that, a letter of administration. And the family went, they were given a letter of administration. And the part of that process requires that you go and stick a notice on the walls of the property that the man has, so that if there's any dispute, whoever has a claim to the property can come out and say so. It was posted for over 30 days and nobody came there. So it gave me the full assurance that this land I was buying was legitimate. But now here I am, after paying over $20,000 to $30,000, seeing a newspaper article, seeing court proceedings, saying that it doesn't belong to me any longer. I was mad. I was disappointed. I was really, really hurt, because I've been a genuine person. I've given my best. Like, I've tried to be somebody of integrity all my life, and this happens to me just because of the country I find myself in and the system I find myself in. And now I asked my lawyer, what are the possible actions I can take? He said he will write a letter so that I go and give it to the lady, why she assured me that I'll be able to enjoy my land in peace and this. And I looked at the court case and the systems that we have in Ghana, which take an eternity for cases. Look, even the chief had been going to court for over 13 years. So I'm going to start another litigation with a woman to pay me the money. And fate and the universe being so crazy. When I gave the money to her, she also went to invest it into a microfinance. And around that time, the government actually put like a freeze on these microfinances, because they were doing lots of, they were mishandling people's funds, people's deposits. And so it was one of the investment funds which was seized by the government, and so they also didn't get their money. And that's how crazy this whole thing was. And they are poor people. Their father, who was the breadwinner, had died. And now they had not said the truth. I had also lost my land. I had lost my money. And they had also lost the money. They couldn't pay immediately. So even if I take it to court and the court rules in my favor, it's just maybe they are going to prison, but I'm not getting my money back. I'm sorry I'm being so emotional. Like, seeing this today reminds me of all the sad things I've been through. So I have the option of going to take them to court to refund my money, which I know they don't have because they are very poor people. Or what do? I start afresh. So I saw my friend who, strangely, like in 2017, he sent me a WhatsApp message. At that time I wasn't in Ghana, I traveled, and then he told me that he had a piece of land that he was selling, right? So no, it wasn't a land, it was a uncompleted building he was selling. And at that time I told him I wasn't in the country, so I wasn't interested. But after this whole incident, when I had completed paying and I was going to develop, and I told him what happened, he laughed at me. He told me, I was trying to sell you my legitimate lands, but you didn't listen, you wanted cheaper, etc. It wasn't like the land I purchased was cheap. It wasn't that cheap, right? Though today the value of the land has appreciated, but it wasn't cheap. I wasn't going to buy it because it was cheap. I was going to buy it because I felt I could trust the people who were selling it to me. Then he said he had 2 parcels of land. So he had one which was bare land that was going for about 70,000 Ghana cedis, right, per plot. And it was very far away. It was close to Ashesi University. Those who know Ashesi University, it's almost in the eastern region of Ghana. Then he had this other property, the uncompleted building, which he was selling for close to 200,000 Ghana cedis. So I looked at it and I didn't want to go through this whole land issue again because I don't know what will happen when I start building. And I've had friends who have also attempted to build in Ghana, and when they started building, even though the lands were legitimate, family members will come and tell you, hey, this land was sold without my knowledge, you need to pay me something, settle me some 2,000, some 5,000. And I had a friend who got frustrated because every week there's a different family member coming. He has been settling them, and he got to a point, he told them to just take the land. They go and buy land in a gated estate somewhere, right? So I didn't want to go through this whole process again. So I said, I will buy this uncompleted building. And on your screen is the uncompleted building as at the time I purchased it, right? It was nothing to write home about. It wasn't exciting. It didn't look nice. It wasn't really appealing, but just because I didn't want to go through the whole pain of starting afresh, I wanted to buy something that somebody had already started working on. And if you want to know more about uncompleted buildings and what to look out for when buying uncompleted buildings, or if you should even buy uncompleted buildings, I have a whole playlist of it. I'm going to leave it in the description below for you to watch after this video. So I decided to purchase the uncompleted building, and then we went into a contract that I'm going to pay 100,000 before I can start any work on it, like initial deposit of 100,000. Then I'll be paying in monthly installments, so I'm able to pay the full amount. And we had calculated that it's going to end somewhere in September 2022. So I like I said, I had some savings, I had some investments, because like I've been really living like a frugal lifestyle. I don't spend much, I don't buy a lot of things, I don't buy a lot of gadgets and stuff like that. Though I have another channel which is purely on gadgets and technology. I don't spend money frivolously and lavishly, right? I know how to manage money. So I had saved up some money, and then I sold my car, added it, and gave him the 100,000. Then came the hard part, because now it meant I didn't have any investment anywhere. If there's any emergency, I don't have any money to sustain me. But I decided I am going to do this, right? So I committed to the monthly installments. The moment my salary comes on the 25th of every month, I said I'm going to pay him a certain amount, right? So I made sure I paid it. The moment the salary comes, I take it out, I give it to him. And sometimes even getting food to eat and everything was difficult, but we persevered. And by God's grace, today, December 2022, we have completed building, and we've completed the payment, and he has given me my land documents. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to tell you that I'm finally a landlord, and I'm grateful to all of you who have also come along with me on this journey few tips and things I want to share with anybody who is watching, especially if you are young and you want to purchase your land and build and do an installment or a mortgage plan or whatever. Be honest, be a person of integrity. So I've told you 2 stories of me paying in installments, and all of it I never missed one payment, whether it was the land I was purchasing or it was the house that I was purchasing. I've paid all without missing 1 month. Now when we reached the September, I still had about 25,000 Ghana cedis outstanding, right? Because I couldn't pay the lump sum that I said I'll pay in September to close it. So we renegotiated the deal, looked at today's exchange rate, looked at the interest rate, and then he added a little interest to it. And I said I'm fine with it because it's just fair. So I needed to be paying more money, right, to be able to complete by December. And by God's grace, using integrity, hard work, focus, determination, not giving up, making sacrifices, I've been able to do this today. And this is the project that you are seeing. This is the result of hard work. This is the result of patience. This is a result of a lot of tears, working corporate during the day and filming my videos and doing other side gigs at night. This is the fruit of my labor. But here it is. Finally. Come and see, oh, come and see. Come and see, oh, come and see. Come and see what the Lord has done.